Musical Talk, the UK independent musical theatre podcast.
Hello, I'm Dominic McChesney. Welcome to Musical Talk. You've just heard It's Only You, which is from the new musical Nebular Tuesday. I chatted to its composer and lyricist Stephen Bull recently, and so without further ado, let's get on with it. Hello, welcome to Musical Talk, and I'm joined today by Stephen Bull, all the way up in Ayrshire. Did I say that right?
You did, Ayrshire. Yes, thank you, Dom. How are you doing today?
I'm very good. It's lovely to speak to you. We're going to talk about a very exciting project that you've been working on called Nebular Tuesday. First of all, I'd like to just talk to you a little bit about your history with writing and musical work from the past and how you started.
I started writing music in the sort of contemporary band setup many years ago, and we had various label involvement and different stuff and different lineups of different bands. We did really well, but I really got to a point where I wasn't really satisfied with a conventional album release, so I was writing a collaborative album with different characters, and I really wanted to explore the musical genre in order to be more of a storyteller.
Yes.
And develop more thematic ideas and more complex issues in my writing.
Because it started off as a concept album, I believe, is that right? So you wanted to start with something with a good storyline.
What happened was I was commissioned by Creative Scotland to record an album, and the album was collaborative, so I found myself writing different lyrics for different voices, and I worked with two fantastic singers, one from a male singer from Leicestershire and a female singer from the Isle of Lewis, and I found myself, as I was writing the lyrics, I was sort of developing a concept album, and the story really came from the lyrics in the first point, Dom, and the fact that I thought, how are these characters going to interact? In what way is this going to be a story? What are the themes going to be? So the plot and the movement of the piece really stemmed from that point.
It's very strong. It's very pertinent for what's happening in the world at the moment. I mean, in quite a chilling way, really. And I think it does strike home. Could you just give us a little synopsis without giving too many spoilers of what the story is about?
Well, there's basically three characters. There's an outsider who arrives in a remote village, and we've set it in an island in Scotland, but it could really be an island anywhere. And the other two main characters are a female character who's married to quite a despotic and domineering police sergeant who actually runs the kind of community in the island. So this outsider finds himself washed up and alone in this community, and he encounters this woman who takes pity on him, and the story really develops from that point of view, how he's treated by these people and what his motivations and the couple's motivations are as well. So that's really the kind of, on the surface, what the story is, but there's other things that happen as the plot develops.
Well, it was certainly quite chilling to see his effect on the other characters and also his effect on their relationship as well. It's Katrina or Catriona?
Yes, it's Catriona.
Yeah. Catriona, because it was very interesting to see how she develops as a character after meeting him, and her relationship with her husband changes. I mean, we don't want to give too many spoilers, but it's quite brutal, some of the things that happened. I mean, there were parallels with The Wicker Man to a certain degree, I found. I mean, it's almost like an anti-Wicker Man, I felt, in some ways.
Yes, I mean, I really do feel that the lead female character is the main character. It's really her story of emancipation from her enslavement, really, to this husband of her who's really quite a bad person. But also, Doug, what you see is the way the outsider is treated, and it really kind of turns a magnifying glass on how we treat other people, as you say. So we feel that's quite relevant to the times at the moment.
Oh, yeah, very much so. What has happened recently with this? Because I know you had a rehearsed reading earlier this year, didn't you?
Yes, we performed the musical at the Harbour Arts Centre in Irvine to quite a busy audience. So what we actually did after the performance was, it was really a real thrill for me for the first time to be working with a producer and a director and hired actors.
Yes.
And what we did after the performance, Tom, was open the audience up to question and answer to ask myself and the other the playwright who had helped me compose the drama, what they thought of the piece and how we could strengthen it going forward, and would they like to see it, and we met with a very enthusiastic response.
What's the name of the book writer?
My right-hand person in this project is a playwright called Marie Dunlop, and she's recently been published by a publishing company in Glasgow. She's released her first book, and it's called Burning Bridges,
Yes.
which is a play about depopulation of Anderson. She's dealing with kind of themes that might happen in rural communities, so it was really great that I met her, and she was interested in working with me, so she's been absolutely invaluable in preparing the plot and the script with me, so it's been wonderful working with her.
They so much complement each other. I mean, your beautiful music, and you've been very generous to give us two of the songs which we played. We heard at the beginning of the show It's Only You, which I just adore. I think it's so soaring. I mean, I don't understand a word of it, but I mean, you gave me the translation, but that's all in Gaelic for people who don't understand or didn't wonder what it was written in. But you wrote it all in Gaelic, didn't you?
We translated it into Gaelic because we wanted to give that kind of archaic sort of otherworldly feel to this female character, that she was part of a tradition and a heritage that the other characters in the piece aren't party to, Dom. Yeah.
Yes. There's a beautiful interweaving of the book and the songs. I think they go so well together and they're so strong. And then we're also going to play at the end of it, It's Over. But it's a wonderful piece, and I really hope it goes from strength to strength. I'm sure it will. So you also mentioned that you're in development with Scotland.
Creative Scotland, yes.
Creative Scotland.
Commissioned the album in the first place, yes. And I mean, if it wasn't for an organisation like that, projects like this wouldn't really happen where we lived on, because we are quite underrepresented in the arts.
Yes.
It's quite a rural and quite a poor community that I'm from, so it's just really great to get help from people like that who endorse your work. It's absolutely fantastic.
So they are a body that promote and help develop new writing and arts, in Scotland all over. So
absolutely, new music, new theatre, new digital arts, very progressive organisation, and very, very helpful and very, very well run.
I'm going to come back to you now and again as we hear about the development of this. I know that you've got a few plans later on in the year. You also said that if anyone is interested in the development side of it, you'll contact you on your website, which is the Mojo Cams, which I believe is the band that you used to have. Is that right?
Yes, it's really the production outfit. I'm actually sitting in my studio today talking to you, Dom. So
yes.
The Mojo Cams is the name of the production outfit from which I release music and do projects like this. So, and if you go to the website, you can get on our social media pages. If you want to stay in touch, there's a Gmail contact there. You can subscribe to our Facebook, but we have 2 songs from the musical on the webpage that you can view the videos to and hopefully give us some feedback. And as you say, Dom, if there's any creative people that would like to get involved, whether it be performers or other types of creatives, please really do get in touch, because we are at a really exciting stage of development and things are looking good. So that would be great, yeah.
That's fantastic. Well, as always, it's a pleasure to speak to you, and I'm very excited about how things are going to develop with this in the future. So we're going to end with hearing a song by Callum, who's the outsider. I'm not going to give any spoilers as to his position in the story or how the story develops around him, but we're going to hear the song It's Over. Thank you very much, Stephen. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dom. Wonderful to chat. Thank you. Bye.
And you too. Bye-bye. My thanks again to Stephen Ball for chatting with us about the show, and we will keep you up to date on the developments of Nebular Tuesday as we hear them. Now, if you are wanting to get in touch with Stephen, then you can do on his email if you go to a website, themojocams.co.uk. themojocams.co.uk. So if you have any interest in the show or want to get in touch with him, if you are a creative of any sort, actor, director, musical director, designer, so on, you can get in contact with him on that email. Please don't email anyone here at Musical Talk. The only connection we have with the show is the interest on how it's being developed and what happens to it in the future. So to play us out, we're now going to hear It's Over, sung by the outsider Callum from Nebular Tuesday. So without further ado, there's only one thing left for me to say, and that is, well, it's over.
Wish I'd never known you. It's a walk away. No, I'll never hold you. Yes, it's over. Don't mean to sound like a bleeding heart, but it's how it makes me feel. You held me right back at the start when I thought you'd set me free. Think it's time there to stop this show. Think it's time there to let you know that I'm letting go. It's over. When it's over, there's no point looking back over your shoulder. When it was, wish I'd never known you. It's a walk away. No, I'll never hold you.
This episode of Musical Talk, presented and edited by Dominic McChesney and Nick Hudson, copyright 2019 Musical Talk, except in the case of the songs in which the copyright remains with the composers and creatives. Thank you very much.